alcohol,
sex,
food,
gambling,
drugs,
internet,
love.
spending.
There are a million addictions, and everybody is recovering from something. Here to help, it's Recovery Wednesday with America's original radio psychic, Dr. Linda Salvin, along with addiction specialist Candy Finnegan from the Emmy Award-winning television show Intervention. Candy and Dr. Linda are two gals who know recovery because they are in recovery. Listen as they help you bring your recovery to the next level, help you solve your thorniest issues in ways you may have never imagined. Together, they bring you the tools and techniques that bring balance, serenity, and recovery to your life, and the tools you need to find solutions for healing from the disease of addiction. Candy teams up with Dr. Linda to share their over 60 years of combined experience dealing with all areas of recovery. In her decades as a metaphysical clinician, Dr. Linda has helped thousands of people worldwide solve problems on the air and in person with her insights and solutions. So pull up a chair, turn it up, and get ready for a visit on the path to recovery with the one and only Dr. Linda. And now, live from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Linda Salvin and Candy Finnegan.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's another segment of Recovery Wednesday. There's Candy Finnegan. I'm Dr. Linda Salvin, and this episode is called The Road Gets Narrower. And what that means is, especially in sobriety, you can't take as much BS from people. You become more tolerant with certain situations that you accept, and other things you get more, it gets real. Things get real. Relationships, problems, money, your responsibilities. And if you get honest, you can't lie as well. It gets really difficult to not be on your path, right, Candy? It gets more.
Yeah, well, yes. You can't lie as well.
No, you can't because you're so okay with being honest and telling the truth and cleaning up your side of the street. And I see the kitty in the background.
Yeah.
You know, the road does get narrower where doors open wonderfully and you're in sync with the universe most of the time when we stay out of the results. But when the road gets narrower, I know I've walked from relationships. I've closed doors. If it doesn't work for me anymore, I don't need to be the doormat. I don't need to be the punching bag. I don't need to be the big nipple to the world. Either you're there with me or you're not. Life gets more real the longer I stay sober, the longer I show up. I have tremendous internet problems for over a week now, and it's driving me crazy with the servers and webmasters, and I'm leaving town for a week and there's no resolution yet. I have to deal with all of this on top of all my clients and all my patients and all my orders. And it's difficult when you can't email because we depend on the internet for life. Just like getting on the show today, I had to go to a different email address from the station to get it to Candy because I emailed Candy 4 days ago and she never got the email because my email's not working. That's frustrating. The road gets narrower. Yes. Can I just change? No. What am I going to do? I have no clue. But am I frustrated? Yeah. Am I sleeping? No. But am I drinking over it? No. Am I smoking dope over it? No. Am I smoking a cigarette over it? No. Am I binging on chocolate or almonds? No.
Yeah. Almonds.
Almonds. I used to be addicted to almonds. When I gave up everything else, I still had to eat something, the hand to mouth. And then it just, you stop and breathe, even though we all go through it. So when you go through your craziness, I was over at Candy's because she had some tech problems on some of her
devices, for God's sakes.
And I fixed them. I was able to get through what I had been taught, but I'm not capable of dealing with like the GoDaddies of the world. That's a whole nother world. But, I showed up. I was helpful to her, and she got through what had been bothering her for almost 2 years, and now it works. Yeah. The opportunities for you to join the show, by the way, are plentiful. You can chat in the comments if you're listening, which I don't see anybody yet. And the phone number to call in is 561-623-9421. So if you want to participate or ask about your recovery or somebody you think might need recovery, or if somebody's on a binge and you want to help them, or maybe somebody is in jail and you want to help them, or maybe somebody needs recovery advice to go to a rehab and you want to help them. How does that work, Candy? Somebody's in dire straits.
Well,
and
I
Candy
was
can
just
jail.
I was going to say, here is a perfect example of the
That's right.
road gets narrower. So Linda and I both have a dear friend, and he has a daughter, and she is a mess. Even when she isn't doing drugs and alcohol, she's a mess. She has really bad temper and anger. And she thinks that the solution to everything is screaming and yelling and insulting. And by the way, calling the police, which has turned out to be not such a great idea. So the road is getting narrower and narrower for her. She's been arrested 3 times. They always let her out because she comes from a good family. And then she takes over. And the road is now so narrow that if she doesn't go to treatment, if she doesn't get help, if she doesn't go to AA, if she doesn't, because the road's about that big, she will go back to jail for a long term. She's also getting, she isn't allowed around her father because the police, not her father, did a restraining order. And by the way, Linda, you were correct. She has an ankle bracelet.
Oh, I thought she might. Okay, you found that out.
So they have some track of her, but all she does is try to,
hide it or manipulate it.
So, I mean, it's like, it's crazy. So I talked to the father today. He was talking so fast. And I kept saying, I know. And he goes, and we've got the place set up for her to go. But this woman or child will not go unless she's court ordered. If she would go before the judge court orders her, he would think that she had turned herself around and realized her mistakes. And here is a perfect example of this road. You either want to be happy or right. Linda and I, way over 30 years, have always tried to be happy. We can move into the right when we resolve our own anger and our own frustration. But this little tiny road that gets so narrow, she would always rather be right than happy. This is behavior that is so habitual. She's been acting like this since she was 17 or 18. She's now over 35. And what I found with this little tiny road, she always goes left. Everybody says, look at all the signs. It says one way. Nope. She either makes a U-turn and goes back the wrong way, or she turns left. And it's what I'm finding in this particular case, and I'm calling it a case because it's gone on for 3 years, is that she doesn't want to take direction from anybody. She knows more, she's smarter, whatever it is that she is. No matter where she goes, she gets in trouble, whether it's an argument with the person next door at a motel, or she's stopped at a stoplight and gets out of her car and starts pounding on their window. Whatever it is,
I didn't know that one.
Realize that her actions and her, really big mouth, sorry to put it that way, is going to be the life of her. It isn't drugs and alcohol. She can detox and get off that. But this behavior has created such a tiny little itty bitty road. Used to be miles long. I don't even think it's, half a block at this point. And she's still digging her heels in. And what I'm learning from this Linda has certainly told me to step back, don't do anything. I do owe the father some respect for many things, but I do owe him the respect. But now what's happening in this situation is he doesn't listen. So if I've got both people, he would lie down on a train track and get run over for her. And what he's trying to figure out how he can save her when she doesn't want to be saved. And the road is so narrow now that I spew out everything that should be done. I have a court liaison that's a wonderful man that deals with these situations. He has spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on her. And is kind of at the bare minimum. He's a professional. He has an office and people under him, 5 people under him or 6. And the thing about it is, it's happened is that I am now to the point where I can't help either one of them. No matter 30 years of knowledge, no matter counseling with Linda.
But it's not your fault. They're not willing. No, they're not willing to hear the message, accept help.
They're not willing to hear the solution.
Well, that's the message.
Well, yes and no. The message is get out of the way. And he does that. And I mean, within 48 hours, she's arrested. He hasn't bailed her out. He's changed all his locks. She can't get in the house because that's the court order. And this particular man is a very law-abiding citizen. But he turns off everything because he isn't happy and he isn't right. He is so enabling her at this point. And that's why we believe that, enabling and codependency are very addicting. It's just another dependence upon a person that you can't save. They have to save themselves. And so I had to hang up because I was coming to do this. And I said to him, I'll call you back at 2. And he said, are you going to have the solution?
Oh, you've been giving it to him for 3 years.
And I said,
oh my God.
I said, listen.
Oh, no.
I have lined you up with a wonderful place she can go. They are not going to proceed with you calling them. She has to call them. Well, she doesn't want to go. And I said, and you have to be okay with that because she's going to be arrested again. They'll keep her from 4 to 7 days. They won't do, the court has not done anything they said they would do except put an ankle bracelet on her. And knowing her, she'll get it off and put it on somebody else.
Oh,
so, who's stationary someplace. It's like, and then I was thinking I was coming on here with you and everyone listening about the road getting narrow. I got to tell you, pretty soon it's going to be a dead end. And there isn't a way you can go around it or through. Well, you could go through it, but God knows what cliff you'll end up on. And I mean, this is why I am a deep, deep believer that this is a family disease. Because trust me, this father has gotten as thick as his daughter. And she at least got the relief of doing drugs. But she's drug tested, so she's not doing that. But the behavior hasn't changed. And she's going to 12-step. Do you think she ever hears a word they say? No. Nope, she doesn't. So at this point, and I don't get here very often, Linda can tell you, I dig a hole and with a spoon, and I don't want anybody to fall in it. I will gradually cover it back up, hoping I can help this person help themselves. But I got to tell you, there's nothing else that can be done for this woman. At this point, I don't even think she minds jail. And I don't know how she acts there, but she's kicked doors in police cars and screamed horrible obscenities at him. And they're, I guess at this point, really used to it. He does not believe that she is mentally ill. Doesn't believe it. And what we always hear is,
Because
oh,
you
she did so well in school. Oh, she was such a nice girl. Well, I don't know what turned her around. But what I do know is people are so frightened of her now, physically, emotionally, and mentally, that it's called the eggshell syndrome. You're just walking on them, scared to death that what you say is going to be the thing that breaks it. He just asked me if I would speak to her. And I got to tell you, 1 in 10,000 people do I say no. And I said no.
Good, because of what she did to you.
Because I want to be heard. I want to make a difference. And when I don't want to waste my breath. I mean, I've been doing this 30 years, and I don't want to say, oh, that's okay, honey. We'll think of another plan.
I have a
You
situation.
don't want to go to this place because it isn't a mansion in Beverly Hills? I'm sorry.
I'm dealing with a woman. I'm dealing with a woman I've known 15 years. I've worked with her as a psychic, as a healer with my candle line. And she was in and out of a program. She got some sobriety. Her son has a drinking problem at the age of 16, 17, and smoking dope and maybe having too high of a level of THC, as you know. And I tried to help her. And then it's my fault that she's not sober. She doesn't want to take direction. I gave suggestions that Candy and I discussed, and I freely offered her some hope and what to do, even for a 5-day detox, because you cannot detox on your own safely. And she called the other day. She goes, I already paid you. I said, no, you didn't. And we went through this whole argument about payment. And then I literally said, I can't work with you. And she said, you're mean. I said, yeah, I'm mean. She's not sober. And so she's out of control. Then I emailed her and I told her everything. And she probably didn't get the email because my emails are broken. But she may not even remember the emails that I charged her for when she asked questions about a so-and-so having an affair and what's going on with the insurance. And she forgets. So that's also part of the disease where the mind's not clear. And the same thing Candy's dealing with this other.
They don't want to hear the solution.
No, they don't.
They want you to jump in that ring of fire.
And I'm tired. And I'm like, Candy, so my road got narrower, that even though I adore this person, when I get to see the best side of her, I can't tolerate it anymore. So my road gets narrower, where I say, I can't help you. You want to call me mean? Fine. Take some responsibility. It's all inside yourself. It's not up to me to fix her insurance, or is this going to happen with the guy? Everything's falling apart because she's so loaded. I said, get sober. Everything will start to clean up. No, I have nothing.
How long has she been drinking?
This time, I think it's just a few months.
I mean altogether.
Oh, I think since she was a teenager.
Well, she could be getting the old, we used to call it wet brain. It is now called alcohol dementia. And they go through these periods where,
Wait, can I interrupt you? You just said wet and it's raining. Did you know it's raining again?
Yes, I can hear it. It's pouring.
It is. Okay, wet. That was a god show.
But anyway, and
I had to break some of this up.
It's I think it's in some senses what Wendy Williams is dealing with. And
she does have a brain. No, she has a brain tumor. She's got a diagnosis, but
but still, she drank every single day for years and years and years, and it escalated into alcoholism. And I know people with brain tumors, as you do, and they don't have cognitive delay. I mean, she probably does have a brain tumor, bless her heart. But before we knew that, she started having all this behavior.
Right.
And
well, she did 6 years on her own, and this is where the road gets narrower too. If you try to white knuckle it and don't have a sponsor or a team or a group, or as Candy and I have talked about, the community of the program support, and you're out there by yourself, not even going online to say, hi, can you help me? There's no connection. Well, I talk to God every day. I said, that's not enough. You need the community. You can't white knuckle. And she thinks
talking to God and listening to God are two different things.
Right. Talking is prayer and listening is meditation. We know that. But she was not willing to Oh, we have a question coming in. We'll get to that in a moment. But she's not willing to do the work, to take the action. It's like, okay, I do whatever I can to try to lose 10 pounds, no matter what, it doesn't work, but at least I'm willing to try everything. I haven't had a drink, or neither have you, in 38 years. I was willing to surrender, take advice, listen to what they were talking about, maybe look at the steps, go through the work. And a lot of people think they know all the answers. If we knew all the answers, why would we need help? Why do we help with recovery? Why did recovery centers and rehab centers open up like crazy from the 80s, 90s, and onward? It became a business. But let's switch gears. We have a couple of questions here. What would make jail better than rehab? It's not.
You have to go to jail and you don't have to go to rehab.
She still gets
listen, I've done interventions and I've said these exact words. You have a choice today to change your life and have the life you so deserve. Or you can continue to sit in this mess and go to jail. And I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, 3 out of 10 people go, I'll go to jail. Because they are clean, unless it's federal, they're clean and sober in there, kind of. And they would rather get the 6 months out of the way, and then they don't have any charges pending, than to go into treatment, because in the state of California, we have an 18-month diversion program that gets wiped from whatever, not a DUI where you hurt somebody or kill somebody, nothing like that, but just a regular old arrest for drugs and alcohol, paraphernalia, whatever it is, dealing. You can get on this 18-month diversion and then have it wiped from your record. But I got to tell you, that doesn't make any difference to them. They'd rather do the 6 months and then they think they can start over. And somebody just said, can a person detox in jail? Yes, they do give you medication. There's a drug called buprenorphine, and sometimes, depending on the jail and the state, they will give you Suboxone as you are going through detox on opiates. Alcohol, they usually give you something that's a non-seizure medication, because usually you've been drinking for a long period of time, around 60 to 72 hours, you have a seizure, and you never get over that. You might get better, but your body will always assimilate when you stop drinking, if you go back to it, to have a seizure. So, but I know a lot of people who pick jail, and it kind of looks like this girl is. I think she's so obnoxious they let her out of jail early, because she was on a no bond, no bail. So when all else fails, let her back out on the street.
Yeah, just what we need, especially all the drug addicts and homelessness, not just in LA. It's a nationwide problem.
yeah.
San Francisco, Portland, Oregon, wherever you go, even at the border, it's everywhere. Dallas, Houston, New York. We're not immune. It's becoming worse. And it gets to a point where we can't fix all these people. You can't fix some of them. And the one that I'm talking about has enough support around her and just got into a house last year, but she doesn't have a job, and this doesn't work and that doesn't work. Well, if you stay sober, things will open up, and she doesn't want to hear it. She'd rather die. Well, she's not going to die. I mean, you go around the hamster wheel. It's like surrender back to God, admit you've got a problem, and get some help. And I'm not your sponsor. Go get a sponsor. I've offered to sponsor her, and then she wants to pay me. She already paid me. She didn't remember paying me. I mean, I can't. Again, the road's too narrow, and I'm too I don't want to say, I'm just too intolerant now for some of the.
Well, you should get her a sponsor. You shouldn't be her sponsor.
No, I know. I've told her, but I'm not going to get her a sponsor. She's out of state.
But I mean, she should be able to get one.
Correct, but she's got an excuse for that. How many times, just like with the one you're dealing with, how many times can someone have all their excuses where you just like throw in the towel? It's like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Again, because they're not hearing the message.
It's funny because her father said she's been going to meetings at. It's some kind of a convent in Encino.
What?
I've lived here 22 years. You lived here a long time.
16
There is
months.
no
No,
convent.
there's no convent. There's churches up and down the
So
boulevard.
because they're Jewish, he wouldn't touch a convent. Oh, she's going to a convent. And I said, what's the address of the convent? What's the name of the meeting? Let me look it up. Oh, I shouldn't ask that, should I, Candy? That's her business.
Oh my, no. I'm sorry to be laughing. I'm sorry to be laughing. We have another. It seems that not only the addict has a narrower road to walk. No, we all do. That's why I'm saying it. You don't have to be addicted. It's just after a while, you keep doing things over and over again, expecting different results. That's called insanity. Thanks to Albert Einstein, who created all that. But we use it as a way to admit, hey, if you keep drinking, yes, you're going to get drunk. If you keep smoking dope, you're going to get high. If you keep sleeping around, you're going to not, you're not going to have love. I mean, all this stuff goes around and around and around. You keep eating sugar, you're going to crave more. But no, any human being, if it's more work, if it's their kids, if it's their job, if it's purchasing, if it's shopping, if it's traveling, after a while, either you are, like Candy said, so codependent or enabling.
Well, that's for this question. When do people stop taking the blame for the acts of others? When they get help. When I got into this business and somebody was saying to me, I have a meeting next Tuesday in Pasadena with a mother who the son went to treatment for 90 days about 6 years ago. And she's a wonderful woman. Oh my God, talk about codependent. She wants to have lunch with me so I can tell her where now she can send her son to codependency treatment. And I thought, Suzanne, let's start with you. And then we'll work down. It's like, first of all, everybody changes addictions, whether it's shopping or, husbands or whatever it is. A lot of people, when you do stimulants and you stop doing them and you gain weight, then you can very easily turn that into an eating disorder. I mean, the wheel keeps going. So they need to either go to Al-Anon, but my suggestion is they go to CODA, which is CODA.
People don't know what Al-Anon is versus CODA. So why don't I got to go get something to drink. Define CODA, which is Codependence Anonymous, and then Al-Anon is for the people who are related to or working with those who are addicted, but there are different programs to help everybody. Why don't you elaborate on that? I'll be right back.
Okay, so CODA is, I'm going to look it up here so that I don't make any mistakes. I mean, CODA, it stands for codependency, and they had to start having CODA meetings because I think that, here's what it says, because they hold themselves responsible for things. So this is the way I define it. Codependency is when you do things for people and you believe they can't do them themselves. Or you will get a better result than the person doing it themselves. And enabling is doing something for somebody when they aren't able to do it themselves. And instead of teaching them to do it themselves, you keep enabling them so they need you. So you don't get left out in the cold because you need them to need you. That's my definition. CODA meetings are teaching you. The first step is I'm powerless over alcohol and my life has become unmanageable. And in CODA, it's I'm powerless over you and my life has become unmanageable. It's a difficult disease, and there are really good treatments. There's a workshop at the Meadows in Wickenburg that's all about codependency. There's a wonderful place in Bowling Green, Kentucky, that's called the Bridge to Recovery. That's all about CODA and codependency, and it's a 2-week program. There are places you can go, but just like any other dependence, you have to be retrained. It's when, Mom, give me a glass of water. And you go, okay, I'll be right there. Instead of that, you go, you can get it yourself, But then with enabling, I'm a deep believer that the dependence becomes they won't need you, which means that you aren't lovable, which means
Which is
you're
the
not.
next question: is being needed by others an addiction in itself?
Yeah, I explained that where you're going. So,
Sorry.
when dealing with an addict, isn't everything they do your business? No. When dealing with an addict, isn't everything they do your business? I don't know who's writing this, but I need to have a little talk with you. You never got them high. You didn't pour alcohol down them. And if you went out and scored for them, which I have known people who do that, so they wouldn't rob grandma. The truth of it is nothing that they do is your business. If they're an addict, if they're living in your house and they have heroin or fentanyl or cocaine or methamphetamine, that's a Class A narcotic, and you are held responsible for having it in your house, which is illegal. So I don't think anything that an addict does is your business. You have to put up with it if you want to. If you don't, stay out of it. That's your business. Get out of it, stay out of it. Let them figure it out themselves. I think that in this day and age with fentanyl, hitting your bottom could be very easily, unfortunately, dying. And so I, as an interventionist, one of the gifts that I've done is I'm able to create a bottom for them that they don't know. And also for the family. Is being needed by others an addiction in itself? Well, I just told you that. Enabling codependent? Absolutely. They have programs for it. They have CODA. Al-Anon is the, I always say, the companion program. There's Narcanon, which is for narcotics. There's cocaine. And I mean, there's everything.
Marijuana Anonymous, Emotions Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous.
But I'm talking about the support group. Marijuana doesn't have. But what I will always say to you, go to Al-Anon. It's the queen of programs that teaches you to stay on your side of the street, get up on the curb, clean up your garbage, put it all away, so you don't have to worry about what you're doing to the addict or for the addict. You're taking care of yourself. And it's really, really, really hard if you're a parent or a spouse. You just think, and I think that this gentleman, this man, whose daughter is so sick, I think that he's scared she's going to die and he won't think that he did everything he could. And that's a fear for all parents. And I got to tell you, it comes true. I've seen it too many times. And, but if you don't set boundaries, addicts like boundaries, addicts like restrictions, addicts like schedules, but none of that happens when you're in the addictive world. That's why you go to rehab.
We know somebody that was in rehab. He's a musician who was in rehab about 54, 55 times when he found
30. It was 37.
He said 50 something because I called him one time. He got angry.
Oh,
I think
well, when he wrote the book, it was 37.
Yeah, but I think it was up to 50. And he said to himself, and this is an interesting statement that I've used with others who have a denial or a question, and you might want to say this to our friend, which this one had said, if I'm so willing to die, why don't I want to live? Right? So if people hear that, if you're so willing to take the drugs or be in jail or beat people up and be so miserable and you want to just die and kill yourself, why is it okay to do that and be in rehab and jail as opposed to just getting out and living life?
Well, because, Linda, they don't think they're dying. It'll never happen to me. That's the anthem over and over again. I'm not doing. It's like when they used to watch the show. what I heard more than probably anything else, 45% of everybody who watched the show was loaded. Because they look and they go, hell, I'm not that
Let me just
bad.
interrupt you. The show Candy's talking about when she was on intervention, A&E's intervention for 10 years, and with God as my witness, we could not go to a movie, a market, a restaurant without somebody stopping us. Oh, are you Candy? Oh, I love your show. Oh, can I just tell you my problem? Oh, I have this. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And she's very humble. Like, yes, that's mean. We just would try to go hide in a little restaurant, but
they put recovery on the
map. They put it on the map. But people, I'm just saying, people knew you wherever we went. They still do. They see you. They recognize you. They know you.
Oh, I'm still on it, even though I'm not on it.
Well, that's true. The replays. But you know, yeah, a lot of them are loaded. They related. Maybe some of the audience got the message, got some help.
Oh, absolutely. I have so many people, really, parents and loved ones and spouses that say, oh, so I don't have to put up with it during a pre-intervention. And, you know, they needed professional help. But I got to be the first to tell you, intervention is not a cheap process. I'm very reasonable because I want to help people, but there are people that charge $22,000 for an intervention. So it's become big business since the show, which it's not a helping business anymore. I'm in the helping business. This is my life work. So I'm not going to be doing that. But, you know, you need an outside voice to tell you that's not working, honey. So stop it. But, you know, over and over again, I say to families, please don't baby him to death. And some of them can do it and some of them can't. And a lot of it turns into, but they need me. No, you need them. You need, because how many times do you hear? I hear it. Oh my God, thank you so much, Candy. You saved my life. No, I didn't.
You saved your own life. You saved your own life. I
introduced you to the solution so you can save your own life. If I could save everybody's life, I wouldn't have a job and we wouldn't be here.
You know, we're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. There's an option. There is an open door to go into another direction, and it starts with faith. And I even said this to the girl in whoever I was talking to, who was another client of mine. I said, just start with the faith of a mustard seed, something little tiny, even if you don't believe, just believe that this little baby seed is going to get you to the next step. It's too overwhelming. My whole life is overwhelming and in the toilet right now for my business and these servers and the websites, and I'm trying to leave town, and I got a big event on Sunday that thankfully Candy's helped me kind of put the wardrobe together. I'm overwhelmed.
Oh, and you got that nailed. So put that out the radar.
It's the whole process of this week trying to get to the plane or the airport next Wednesday, getting this all cleared up. And it's just one deep pile of crap that doesn't want to stop where I can leave.
It's going, Linda, how dare you take a vacation?
Yeah, but I'm doing the best I can. And, you know, but the thing is, had I been still in my disease of drinking or overeating the sugars or smoking dope or popping Valium or taking another Desoxyn, something to keep me up, whatever, smoking a pack of cigarettes, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not harming me. I'm showing up and say, Candy, I can't do what this, or Candy, what about shoes? And I asked for help today, not just Candy, but I have other friends. I did message. I had dinner plans on Monday with one girl, and then I thought it was with another girl, and she was at the restaurant, and I canceled another. I didn't show up for either one of them because I've been so overwhelmed. I'm confused. Think about being overwhelmed and confused in sobriety.
Well,
drugs.
I don't think that's just with addiction. I think in this day and age,
but it's worse.
We've had the epidemic, we've had the COVID. I think that everybody was sequestered in their house, in their mind, in their lives. And I think that everybody wants to get out and make up for those 2.5 years. Not possible. You cannot pick up where you left off. You have to
a new process.
continue on with what's in front of you. And our world is not the same.
No, we all feel different, see different things are different everywhere in the middle of an election season. Everything's like big right now. But our own lives or with we're trying to help someone else who thinks they need help, at least if you're willing, people, the message is if you're willing to hear a solution of how to get to the other side of addiction or the pain or the grief
or the mental illness
or the mental illness, we have opportunities to help you. Candy's one of the biggest interventionists in the country, people. Contact her off the air at Candy Finnegan at AOL.com. Candy Finnegan at AOL.com.
Or you can go on Amazon and
buy your book.
My book, When Enough is Enough. And it's a comprehensive guide to loved ones doing their own intervention. You don't have to spend this money. Is it best to have a professional? Any more than you can read your own mind and get out of your own thing, you call Linda. And if you can't get out of your own way and can't get through this, then you can call me. I also have a service of guiding you and walking you through this for a small fee, but it isn't impossible for you to take contrary action. As Linda said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, always expecting different results. Always you have the same result. And the worst part of addiction, and I say it almost every week, you don't know how sick you are. You always think you can quit on Monday. You always think that somebody's going to save you. I can't find an apartment. A landlord's not going to come up and knock on your door and go, do I have an apartment for you? You have to go out and look. You have to make the effort.
And that's why they say faith without works is dead. You can have all the faith and all the belief, but you've got to show up and lift your legs.
Depends on what kind of faith you have.
Well, you got to
start with faith in a higher power. You do the right action and leave the results to a higher power.
Right, but we have to take action.
You are God.
Action is the right word. If we don't take action for our health, wealth, mental health, relationships, dusting the furniture, right? We have to
take the laundry.
Doing the laundry, we have to be responsible. Do you think I enjoy doing laundry once a week? No. Do you think I'm too busy to wash the floors? You bet. Did I used to have a housekeeper? Yeah, but right now I'm in between. But I get it done. Candy gets it done because we're willing to get it done, even though, oh my God, I got to do this. We're overwhelmed with tons of things to do. Not all of us have 50 butlers and 1,000 drivers. You know, not everybody lives in mansions. No, a lot of us are like everyday people. And
so I'm fascinated, Linda.
Yes.
But the person that wrote, when dealing with addict, isn't everything they do your business? I mean, that sentence I just wrote down because I'm using it for the epitome of enabling.
Okay.
That statement right there is one of the biggest setbacks of addiction, and in some senses, mental maladies, is that you lie. So this person believes that everything somebody says to you that's an addict is the truth. If their lips are moving, they're lying. They don't even know the truth. And I found that out years ago being an interventionist. Everybody would say, and this and this and this and this happened. And they'd go, that never happened. Why are you making up stuff? They have pictures, they have videos. I never did that, you know. So you just have to be very cautious to protect yourself. And that's when you go to CODA and Al-Anon to get into your own recovery, that your life is unmanageable because the people around you are, and they, you know, a lot of them are very disappointed that they, you know, they taught them not to lie, not to cheat, not to steal, to be a good person. And so, you know, they cross that invisible line where your moral code and theirs are very different. Can you get back to it? Absolutely. And Linda and I are a perfect example of that. But you have to work at it. It's not going to walk in the door.
No, and that's why, because it works when you work it, we have stayed through it for 38 years. If it didn't work, why hang out? No, it's not a cult. No, it's not brainwashing. There are tools to living life on life's terms.
I swear to you from the bottom of my heart, and Linda and I talked about this endless over the years. both of us came from nice married. I mean, neither one of our parents were divorced. I am adopted, but I had a wonderful upbringing. And Linda had got to travel all over the world with her parents. And I have to tell you, we have some complaints, trust me. But the real fact of it is, none of that, this wonderful life, multiple houses for me, and big high society things. I learned more in 4 years in AA than I did in my own family as far as the respective part of another human being. I never learned when you're wrong, promptly admit it. I made up in myself, when you're wrong, blame it on them.
Yeah, I'm guilty. I used to blame my parents for all my problems till one day I got my head out of my butt and I saw the truth. It's like, yeah, I was angry, or I didn't agree, or I was punished or grounded, and I was controlled, or they wanted me to do things against what I felt or whatever. So I blamed them. But one day I realized it's up to me. I have to own it. And when my mother was still alive,
I know your parents, and lucky for me, I know your dad now.
Yep.
And what I have to tell you is,
I got to make amends when my mother was still alive. I was able to, part of the program is making amends, apologizing for wrongdoing, and possibly hurting other people as much as I was abused. And
my first
but I
step
still said, I'm sorry.
I made a list of 35 people that have done me wrong, honey. And I showed it to my sponsor, and she went, wow. Were you treated horribly? Now go back and do this over. I'm sure you had nothing to do with this. So I went, oh shit.
Yeah. How's she doing, by the way? How's she doing?
Who?
Your sponsor.
My sponsor died.
Oh, she did? You didn't tell me. So she did go.
Yeah, she died last Wednesday.
Oh, okay. I hadn't heard.
And
oh, okay.
Yes, she had the same cancer Mike did. So I guess I didn't want to talk about it. But she truly made the decision because she was having horrible chemo brain, and her life was not, she was suffering horribly. So she stopped all treatment and went into palliative care and died last Wednesday.
Yeah, I knew she was in care, and I knew that you thought you might get to go see her, but I didn't know that she had actually died. I mean, with all the talking, you never even mentioned it, so I just let it go.
Yeah, anyway, no, I tried to not go into this other loss.
No, that's painful. That's painful. We've got 3 minutes left in the show. You're listening to Dr. Linda Salvin talking to Candy Finnegan, and every Wednesday we do what's called Recovery Wednesday, and we try to enlighten you as to where there are options for you to take responsibility and make a phone call, go online, get some help, ask questions, show up, make some changes should you want to. Understand that there's more to what you think you know, and you're not alone. We are all recovering from something, as Candy says. We all have issues. Nobody walks on water. I know I have an attitude. I piss a lot of people off all the time, but people don't understand the intensity.
Not me. You don't piss me off.
No, but a lot of people don't understand my sense when I hear voices, because I'm a psychic. I don't have to see your face. I react to what I hear.
Yeah, and when you say that, it isn't destructive thoughts.
No, people don't understand why I might be sharp, or I get crazed, or you even see me.
The thing that I always have to remember about you, Linda, is you take on a whole lot of other people's shit and stuff. And it's like I was able to walk away from somebody else's addiction in an intervention and go home and know that I did the best I could, just as you. But when you have something that's living in your head, it's very difficult, which you do a lot.
Yeah.
And over the years, I've watched you be able to dispense it into the right position. So
I'm getting there. It's hard, just running a company, running my business and everything, producing 3 shows, doing all the candles, working with the clients. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's not just showing up on a monitor once or twice a week. No, there's the background. We've got QuickBooks, we've got laundry, we've got a house to keep. She's got a sick cat that she's got to go drive forever just to get the insulin. People, we have lives, but because we're sober, we're more active and present in our life than we might have been.
I'd still put it off as long as I can, but I do get it done.
But you get it done. Yeah. We're at the end of the show, everybody. I'm Dr. Linda Salvin. That's Candy Finnegan. This is Recovery Wednesday. Now, next week will be a repeat, as will the following Wednesday, because I'm traveling. So we'll be gone, but you'll see repeats. Maybe I'll just replay this one with a different title, because I think we gave a lot of great information today for the addict that still suffers. And if you have a need,
Or the family that's still
or the
suffering.
family, we have the solution. So we will talk to you again in 3 weeks. We'll be back live, which will be at the end of March. If you're watching this as a download or a replay, doesn't really matter. The information.
And I want to wish each and every one of you happy St. Patrick's Day.
And happy
You
St.
don't have to drink. You can have green bagels and green eggs.
And green hot dogs.
Oh, no, I don't want those.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed Recovery Wednesday. You can reach Dr. Linda at 888-509-1077 or at lindasalvin.com and Candy Finnegan at candyfinnegan@aol.com. Need a breakthrough of your own? Ready for answers or insights nobody else has? Reserve your own one-on-one in-person chat. Dr. Linda isn't just for other people. Dr. Linda gets results for you. And it's easy. Contact details are on screen now. Just click on lindasalvin.com or call toll-free 888-509-1077. That's lindasalvin.com or toll-free at 888-509-1077.